The conclusion of your book, Shashi, is that Mr. Modi has let down, failed, and even lied to the Indian people. But the truth is that Mr. Modi remains and has been perhaps the most popular Prime Minister that India has seen for several decades. And many people, many in this room perhaps, believe he will win again in 2019. And that is a paradox your book does not address. How do you explain the fact that a man you believe has let down, failed, and even lied to the Indian people remains far and away the most popular political entity in this country?
I think there's a lot to be said for his personal oratory, which I think is impressive, though it's beginning to wear thin. I mean, now there are more and more interesting images coming out of empty chairs at his rallies, of people walking out before he finishes speaking because they've heard the same thing many times before, of people changing channels when he appears, of people parodying his speaking style. So I don't want to imply that he's enjoying the overwhelming approval that his oratory undoubtedly enjoyed at the time of his election in 2014 and for a year or two after. But nonetheless, there is a lot to be said for the compelling nature of his oratorical presence. Secondly, there is the fact that Mr. Modi, I think in his person, has been able to persuade the nation of a number of qualities that are ascribed to him personally. The ones that you already mentioned in your earlier question, symbolized by the 56-inch chest, which actually turned out to be 50 inches when he was measured for an achkan, but that's another matter. Now look, I mean, exaggeration is something no one denies about Mr. Modi. He stood up in Davos and said that I have received the votes of 600 million people. And as you know, India has only 600 crore people, he said. Maybe he meant million, but even that would have been wrong. So he said 600 crore people. There are only 125 crore people in India, and only 17.5 crores of those voted for him. But somehow that's become 600 in his mind. Most chronic exaggerators actually believe their own lies because they just get so used to inflating the truth. That's why he says things like that. He told an audience of Silicon Valley executives that India had a 20 trillion economy, it's a 2 trillion economy, and so on and so forth. He really exaggerates almost reflexively. And it may partially be because he doesn't fully understand the numbers, but it's also partially because it's a 50. No, I mean, come on. Would you, I'm sorry, if you were the CEO of a company, would you know what your turnover was or not? If you're the Prime Minister of India, would you know what the size of your GDP is? Come on. I'm sorry, the fact is that to say that India, if you're the Prime Minister of India, you should know the population of your country, you should know the GDP of your country. Those are the two most basic things, and he's on record, on tape, as having got both wrong. I think Mr. Modi has also convinced people that he is strong, assertive, decisive, etc., despite the evidence I pointed out to the contrary. And he has convinced people that he actually is genuinely interested only in serving the nation, that he has no wife and children to support. He does have a wife and he doesn't support her, so that part is true. The point is that he has definitely conveyed the sense that he doesn't actually have anyone to make money for. And indeed, if you talk to his family, he's never done anything for them. His brothers are on record. I've quoted a couple of brothers in the book. And he clearly hasn't done much for either his mother or his wife. Now, if you think those are virtues, then you don't know enough middle-class Indian families, because those are not virtues to most Indians. But nonetheless, it's been spun as a political virtue, that therefore he will honestly serve you, the people of India. To which, of course, some of his relatives say, if he can't even look after those for whom he has a familial responsibility, how is he going to look after the people of India? This is all about himself.